quite funny, the first time I met Mark and Claire, I came into CVV not all that long after we'd opened, and it was a dreadful day. They were soaked, and we ended up talking about their mobile van Henri that they had at the time, and basically they'd wanted to have a coffee shop and ended up with a van. I wanted to have a van and ended up with a coffee shop. Ironic, eh? So just over a year ago they took the plunge and rented a unit. It's the old ticket house at Belvoir Castle. It'd take a long while to get to the point where they could take it over. It was a bit of a long job, on and off, on and off. But they got there in the end. So like everyone in hospitality business, coffee shops, had to close down during the lockdown, COVID, opened back up again as a takeaway. And I must admit, I think it's a really good model for them. We're quite limited on space inside, so it definitely helps. Obviously it makes it more weather dependent, which is the downside, but you always get decent coffee there and decent cakes. So, and there's the little things that we need as cyclists. So there's a track pump, you can charge your phone up from the inside. Well, yeah, so if you can actually at the moment, thinking about it. But you know, they sell some Belvoir 40 energy products, but great coffee. Mark is, like myself, a bit of a coffee geek. Serving the right standard of coffee is really important to him. So, like myself, he'll spend a lot of time every day dialing in the coffee machine to make sure it's exactly right. And it's amazing how many coffee shops don't do that, and how many coffee shops don't look after the steam wand. If you see the steam wand in a coffee shop covered in dried milk, give it a wide berth, don't bother, I don't care. So it's always a good measure is how clean the machine is in a decent coffee shop. And I'm going to put you down now. I don't know why I chose to speak to you coming up the hill to Belvoir. Not the easiest place to speak. Oh. Well, mist and rain's come in now. It's very, very murky now. How well it'll pick it up over there, but can't see much. There's the viewpoint from the car park at Belvoir Castle, and normally basically you see pretty much to Nottingham. Well, you couldn't see virtually anything. You could probably see half a mile. That was it. So it's that fine rain soaks you through. But I've had my coffee stop, had my flat white, the fastest flat white in the Vale of Belvoir. That's served by Cafe Allez. So heading back now, going out towards Nipton and then back to Grantham. One of the good things about Belvoir, even in this kind of grim weather, you've got a lot of areas that's under trees and it's still kind of nice. Well, I must admit, bad weather doesn't massively put me off cycling. I think, well, not so much today, it's still warm with it, but if you've got the right clothing, got decent gear, I don't mind going out in pretty much any weather. I'd rather go out in rain than high wind, but rain doesn't really stop me. So can you see, I don't know how well that's going to pick up down there in this murkiness, but it's a little wooded area on the edge of Belvoir. Just coming up now to one of the viewpoints, another one of the viewpoints, which is definitely not a viewpoint today. But if you've ever ridden in this area, looking out over the Belvoir estate, A lot of it was originally designed by Capability Brown but never got carried out. So a few years ago, what's that gardener's name? Can't remember what the gardener's name is. Anyway, a gardener, famous gardener on the telly. He came and they followed the original plans. So they created this whole area of parkland. Alan Titchmarsh, that's the fella. So down there we've got a few lakes, and in the parkland there was a programme on Channel 4 about it, but in the parkland they created a whole load of ponds and lakes that actually are sort of linked together to make them look a bit like a river, like they're flowing but they're not. So it's a beautiful area, and even in this mistiness it's still quite got an appeal, you know, it's nice. Oh dear, fellow up there on a motorbike looks to have broken down, wasn't starting. And I'm going to put you down now because I'm about to head downhill towards Nipton, and in the dry it's a 35-38 mile an hour hill, so can't really take you along with me at the moment in this murkiness down there. So today's view is definitely just mist and cloud. There's no view. It's not cold though, still on short sleeve jersey, shorts. Nope, it's not cold. So although I'm getting a bit wet, at least it's not cold, so it's really quite, it's almost enjoyable. Does that make me sound a bit strange? No, it's not too bad at all. There's worse ways to spend a Sunday afternoon. It's actually nice to be in the fresh air, really. I've been working on my son's scooter. It's got a Yamaha Aerox which has been misbehaving, so I spent this morning a few hours stripping the car, messing around with it, surrounded by petrol fumes. So always good to get a bit of fresh air after doing that sort of work, I think. So coming into familiar territory, somewhere you guys have seen before, but we're just coming into Denton village. stretch of new tarmac there through Denton. Always a pleasure to ride that bit. Joe just went into Harlexton. I'm from here 4 and a bit miles from home now from here. Roads are actually dry here, under the trees at least. The roads are dry. In fact, actually, looking at it, they're pretty much dry. We're just a little bit damp. So I think that the rain that was coming down was a bit sort of localised over Belvoir, I think, really. So it looks like in Grantham here, it's yeah, it's pretty dry, or almost dry at least. So after last week's video of cycle to work day, if you saw that one, you might remember I showed some footage of making a coffee using an AeroPress machine, and so I had 2 or 3 comments after it about what it was, and also asking for a bit more coffee content. And you know, as regular viewers will know, I owned a coffee shop until recently, and I'm a bit of a admitted coffee geek. So yeah, it'd be good fun to do some more coffee content for you. But it'd be interesting to know how you guys are making your coffee at home currently, if you drink coffee, that is. I'm sure you do, because as you know, cycling and coffee go together. So yes, how do you make your coffee at home? Hopefully you don't make instant coffee, because that would be folly. But yeah, hopefully you guys are, or many of you will be using some decent coffee. But I'm interested to know, are you using filter coffee, cafetiere coffee? Have you got an espresso machine at home? Are you using a machine, a pod machine? So yeah, I'll be interested to know. And if there's anything in particular you'd like to see coffee related, again, drop a comment and I'll see what I can do. Anyway, rain's coming down now. Just got home in time, so before I get too wet, see you again in a few days' time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell icon. See you soon. Cheers, bye.